Hi, this is Miss Goodale, and today I'm talking about finding the percent of a quantity. Excuse me. In your notes, you should have directions for finding the percent of a quantity. If you recall from previous lessons, I've talked about the word of being a hint to you multiplying, and this is the case here. Remember, we don't always use the word, or we don't always multiply every time we see the word of, but it is a good indicator that you might multiply. So let me give you an example here of a fraction of a number. So if I say 5% of 80, I know that I'm going to multiply to find 5% of 80. So the way I'm going to do this is to either change my 5% to a fraction and then multiply, or change it to a decimal and multiply. So let's start out with a fraction. 5%, remember we can put our percent over 100. So 5 goes over 100, and then a whole number can be that same whole number over 1. So 80 is the same thing as 80 over 1. And then I can either multiply straight across. So if I do 5 times 80, that's 400. And 100 times 1 is 100. And then I could reduce by dividing. 400 divided by 100 is 4. So I would get an answer of 4. Or I could do it the other way, excuse me, and reduce before I multiply. 80 and 100 can both be divided by 20. 80 divided by 20 is 4. 100 divided by 20 is 5. I could also reduce my 5 and my 5 because 5/5 is 1 over 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, if I wouldn't have reduced that first, let me show you over here. I have 5 over 100 times 80 over 1. This is just another method to do the same thing. If I would have just done, excuse me, my 4 and my 5, I would have gotten 20 over 5, and I would have divided 20 by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So all of these ways equal 4. Excuse me. Let's do an example with changing the percent to a decimal. So if I have 5%, same percent of 80, and I change it to a decimal number, remember I take the 5 and I move the decimal twice. So that is 0.05. And so I'm going to multiply 0.05 times 80. So I like to put, I'm going to put my 80 on top, and I'm going to give myself a little bit more room to multiply. I'm going to put my 0.05 on bottom, or my 5/500ths. Remember, when you're multiplying, you don't have to line up the decimals. You do the decimals at the end. So 0 times 5, 8 times 5. And then the other rows would be zeros, so I don't really have to do the other rows. And then at the end, I have 2 decimal places. So I move that 2 decimal places, and I get 4. So either one of those methods will work for finding the percent of a number. Let's just do one more example, and then we'll move on. Let's do 20% of 120. So the first thing I'm going to show you is as a fraction. So I'm going to do 20 is 20 over 100 times 120 over 1. and then I'm going to reduce. So 100 and 120 can both be divided by 20. 120 divided by 20 is 6. 100 divided by 20 is 5. I'm also going to reduce again. I know I could wait till the end, but I see this 20 and my 5. My 20 can be divided by 5. That makes this 4. And my 5 can be divided by 5, which is 1. So then I just have to multiply across. 4 times 6 is 24. And 1 times 1 is 1. 24 over 1 is 24. If I did this the other way, 20%, so I move my decimal twice. So then I have 0.2, or 2/10, times 120. I'm going to put my 0.2 on the bottom, or my 2/10 on the bottom. And I'm just going to get rid of that 0 because I don't need it after the decimal. So now I have 2 times 0, 2 times 2, 1 times 2. I have 1 decimal place, so that should be 24. So I got the same answer either way. So that kind of covers quickly how to find the percent of a quantity. Let me know if you have any other questions, and feel free to ask any more. Thank you.